everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Christina, and so today we're going to be going through my eyeshadow collection. I don't have a huge collection, but it has seemed to have grown in the last months. I think Boxycharm has really kind of amplified my collection. I figured instead of doing an all-over collective collection, we would just do an eyeshadow collection because honestly, that's the most exciting part. We're just gonna get into it. I have my eyeshadows basically in one little area, but I think I'm gonna pull everything out. I think I may pull them out in sections onto my vanity top, that way we can go through them. I'll tell you which ones are my favorite, which ones I like the most, which ones I like the least. I might get rid of some because honestly, I'm due for a declutter probably coming up here soon. Before we get any further, make sure to hit that subscribe button because I do upload Monday through Friday. Don't know why I'm pointing with my thumb and my finger. Besides the point. I do upload Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so don't want you guys to miss out on anything. Also, make sure to hit the bell notification, and I think that's all the business stuff, so let's just get on into my vanity. Alright, so here is one of my first drawers. If you guys watch my Shop My Stash videos, then this looks pretty familiar. This is where a lot of my eyeshadow palettes are. There's a nice huge like stack right here. They're all like stacked on top of each other. So I'm gonna pull everything out of this drawer and put it on top of my vanity. That way we can kind of look at everything a little bit better. Alright, so I pulled out a lot of the ones that were in that drawer. I'm also going to go over here. In this little container, I also have eyeshadow palettes in here. They're like little ones. These are like quads and stuff. I still count them. And then coming over to the side, I have this little, I think it's like a mail file or a letter file, whatever this is called. I have a few eyeshadow palettes in here, so I'm going to pull these out. So basically everything from way over here to way over here. So everything the light is touching is everything I own. While we're going through these, if you see a palette that I have never talked about on my channel or I have talked about but you want more in-depth reviews or you want like a 3 looks 1 palette kind of video, well, let me know when you see it. Just let me know down in the comments and I will make sure to do that because I would love to get more use out of these. So I'm going to start over here with this. This is one of my Colourpop palettes. So I'm going to start with this one. This is the Dream Street palette by Kathleen Light. I love this palette. I like the color story of it. It has a lot of like easy wearable colors with a couple pops. For me, this is a really nice, easy everyday palette. I really like the formula of Colourpop shadows and I like Kathleen Light's. I really like having this in my collection. I also have the Zodiac palette by Kathleen Light with Colourpop. Again, really like the color story of this. This one is a lot more vibrant. This one is a little bit more difficult to wear if you want like an everyday look. They definitely do have like everyday shadows in here. Like this section is really nice for an everyday look. But it definitely has these nice pops as well. And like these shadows, like Colourpop shadows are just really nice in general. Glad I have this one as well. I also have a plethora of Bad Habit palettes. These are 3 Bad Habit palettes that I got off of Hush. I think I've reviewed all of them, but I'll go through them really quickly. So this one is the Aura palette. This is clearly an Anastasia dupe for the Subculture palette. I honestly am glad I'm doing this video because I kind of forgot I had this, but this is definitely screaming fall to me. So I kind of want to play with this one again. From what I remember, the shadows are really nice, and for the most part, all of them swatch really well. Well, I just swatched these from the palette and they are a little sheer and a little more chalky. What I might do is I'll probably keep this palette for now, but I'll throw it in my everyday makeup drawer next month and play with it. If I don't like it, I'll probably declutter it because I honestly don't need it if I'm not going to use it. This next palette by Bad Habit is the Retro Love palette. Love this palette. Now this one I have played with a good bit. I love these tones right here. They're so nice. I know a lot of my eyeshadows are neutrals, so I am a little repetitive, but the formula on this is really nice. I really want to play with this quad right here. I definitely need to like revisit these Bad Habit palettes, but I liked this one a lot. And then the last out of Bad Habit palette is the Royals, and this one. So this one is like the Modern Renaissance by Anastasia, another really pretty color palette. These shadows in this palette are nicer than the other 2. They did something different formula wise. I had this in my everyday makeup drawer for a little while and absolutely loved it. I do really like Bad Habit palettes. So this next palette is the Nightingale palette by Pretty Vulgar. We got this in Boxycharm last month and the colors are really pretty. I honestly haven't even played with this palette yet. The colors, looking at them, don't really scream out to me. I know they're neutrals, but something about them don't really scream out to me. But so many people have reviewed this since it's come out in our Boxycharm and say that they love it. So I really do want to play with this before I've made a final like opinion on it. I have swatched a couple of the colors. I swatched this one and this one down here, and they swatched really nice. I just haven't actually had a chance to play with them on my eyes. So I do want to play with this one too. too. Now this palette is one that I really enjoy having. This is the Milani Bold Obsessions palette. I have used and abused this palette so much. These two colors up here are amazing. This shimmer is amazing and this gold, amazing. Like this is such a good affordable palette. It definitely gives me Tarte vibes and I like that. It was much more affordable. It is a little pricey for drugstore, but Milani shadows are formulated so nice and I honestly don't know why more people aren't talking about this still because this is such a good palette. This palette is another one that I haven't played with very much because it's a pain to get open. Let's see if I can even do it. There we go. So inside, as you can see, it's a mess. When I ordered it, one of the shadows came broken. The color story is really pretty, but I just haven't gotten around to playing with this. I don't even think I said what this is. This is the J-Cat Santa Monica palette, and I love the colors. I think it's perfect for fall. I just haven't played with it yet. I feel like this is one of those palettes I need to do a 3 looks 1 palette with because otherwise I don't think I'm gonna actually like go into it, but I love all of the greens in this palette and I just really need to play with it, but I just don't know why I haven't. I've had it for a while. I've had it for months and I haven't even put any shadows on my eyes. So need to play with this. If I don't like it, I really just need to declutter it because it's massive. Now this little palette you guys should recognize if you've been on my channel because I did do a fall tutorial using this palette. This is the Marvelous Mauves palette by Dose of Colors and this color story. These mauvey tones, man, love them. These shadows are so nice. Dose of Colors has really nice eyeshadows. Love the way they formulate them. They're easy, blendable, just everything nice. I definitely need to use this some more, but if you want to see these shadows in action, I'll link the tutorial up in a card above. Then we have this palette. This palette also came in a Boxycharm. This is by Crown. I haven't even taken this one out of the box. I think I took it out of the box when it first came to us. That way I could look at the colors, but I haven't like swatched anything or anything like that. The colors are so pretty. I just don't know if I'm ever going to play with this. I actually think I might give this away because I don't think I need this. It looks really nice. If anyone else got this palette in Boxycharm, let me know what you thought of it because it does look really nice. I just don't know if I need it, you know? This is another Colourpop palette. We actually got this in a Boxycharm too, I believe. And I love this little thing. This is the Semi Precious palette. And look at these colors. Freaking love this like periwinkle color up here. Ooh, these are nice. This I had in my everyday makeup drawer for like months and months because they're just so nice. They are all shimmer shades, so it's definitely like an accent palette. It's not a standalone palette. Here's some swatches from this Semi Precious palette. Like look at that periwinkle. It like matches my shirt right now. But these are so pretty. Now this palette right here is a really fun palette. This was a limited edition palette with Disney right when the Alice Through the Looking Glass movie was coming out. And I love the way this palette looks. When it opens up, it has like this cool little booklet in it with the butterfly. And then the actual like eyeshadows are down here at the bottom and it like comes out completely. I got a lot of pretty good use out of this palette. I just didn't really care for the shadows. I may be of the rare opinion, but I don't really care for Urban Decay eyeshadows that much. I find them a little too dry for me. So I really didn't use it that much. I do have some really old videos like right when I was first on YouTube. I've mainly just been holding on to it because of the limited edition and nostalgic reason, and the palette's just really pretty, but I definitely don't get any use out of these shadows anymore. Now this is a newer palette to my collection. I did just do a video on this. This is the Zulu palette by Juvia's Place, and guys, oh, these colors are, as you've probably seen, unlike anything in my collection. They're very bright, vibrant, just like these vivacious colors, and I am obsessed with it. The formula is amazing. The price was good. I stand by indie companies, so that's also awesome. The pan sizes, as you can see, are like massive, and again, like it's affordable. I really don't have anything bad to say about this palette at all. I am so glad to have this in my collection. If you want to see looks with this, I did that video. I will also link that in a card above, so go check that out if you're interested. But moving on to another Bad Habit palette. This is the Aphrodite palette. I've done videos with this as well, and it's a Huda Beauty dupe. Look at this. I need to bust this guy back out again because these palettes are so good. Now I've never tried the original. This is obviously a dupe, but this was affordable, and Bad Habit makes really good shadows. I just swatched some of the shimmers for you, and aren't they beautiful? This is another Bad Habit palette. This is the Athena palette, another Huda Beauty dupe. Really like this one. This one is clearly more like cool tone purples, and it's so pretty. This is also formulated really well. The colors are really nice. Everything blends really well. I clearly have dug into a lot of these shimmer shades. This shade is the only one that I don't like, this Daring shade. It's like a glitter overlay. When you do it like that, it looks really nice, but if you try to swatch it, it like looks like garbage. Right when I say that, it doesn't look that bad, does it? On the eyes, it really doesn't perform that well. So that's the only shade I really don't like in this one. But now this palette is in my Project Pan palette, so you guys have probably seen this one a lot. This is a Makeup Geek palette, and this is the one that was in collaboration with Manny MUA. This is like a Project Pan sneak peek. I've pretty much hit pan on all of the shades I want to. I'm really gonna try and use this up. I mean, again, in my Project Pan, so I can get it out of my collection. This right here is another newer palette. This is the Pure Midnight Masquerade palette. We just got this in our Boxycharm, and it's like a face and eyeshadow palette. I swatched all of the face items, and they're so pigmented, so I'm excited to use this, but I have not actually put any of these on my face yet, so I don't really have an opinion. I do think it's really pretty. The color selection for the eyeshadows is really interesting to me, and I'm interested to see like what I can come up with that color selection. This is another eyeshadow palette that I'm kind of on the fence about. This is the BH Cosmetics Carly Bible Deluxe Edition palette. I did a 3 looks 1 palette with this palette when I first got it, and I really like the way it looks. I like the tones in it. I just haven't been reaching for it lately, and I don't really know why. I don't know. I'm not inspired by it for some reason. I don't know if this palette is available anymore. I know it was kind of limited edition, but I don't know if I really want to keep it. I can't use this one's kind of on the chopping block right now. This right here is my Z palette. This I got off of Amazon. I love this thing. I'll link it for you guys, but it's like a really affordable Z palette. These are, ooh, it's messy in here. These are a lot of my Colourpop single shadows. I have Colourpop in here. I have Pure Cosmetics shadows in here. I have some Anastasia in here, and I have some Winky Lux in here. So I pretty much depotted a lot of shadows and just put them in here. Some really good shadows in here. This is like really good for when I travel, and this is just a really nice Z palette or magnetic palette. So here is another palette I haven't even taken out of the box. What is wrong with me? So this is the Pixie palette with It's Judy's Time. I found this at TJ Maxx for $7.99, so that's why I got it, but then I've never even opened this. Like, what is wrong with me? It's still taped. Like, I haven't even looked at the colors, you guys. So everyone in the comments yell at me to use this because I've heard such good things about this palette, and I want to play with it. I just don't know what's wrong with me. Now this palette. Look at this palette! So this is the Desi and Katie Dose of Colors Friendcation palette that just came out. I did a video with this. I'm actually doing an active giveaway, giving away this palette, not this one specifically. I have a new one for you guys. Giving away this palette, so if you are interested, I will also link that in a card. But this palette, you guys, look at these hand motions in the mirror. This palette is so good. Absolutely love it. It's actually in my everyday drawer right now because I want to use the absolute living heck out of it. These shadows, so nice. These are all so wearable. There's so many looks you can use with this. I am just obsessed. Now this cutie little bean palette is the Persona palette. I got this, I think at one of the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty. It was on sale, and I've heard such good things about it, so I got it. And guys, like, look at that. That is a neutral lover's dream. Now these shadows are very creamy and very pigmented, and like they last forever. This was actually the eyeshadow palette I used on my wedding day. They kind of made me feel like I was using a Viseart palette without spending the money for a Viseart palette. They just worked really well. They stayed on. They were really, really pretty, really easy to use. I feel like this is a beginner friendly palette, and it's super affordable. Yet again, another palette I have barely used. So as you can see, this was a Boxycharm Pure palette, and despite the way it looks, I have not even used this really. I think I've swatched a couple for that video, but I haven't actually like done an eye look with this. This shadow came to me completely shattered. I had to repress it, which is why it kind of looks like it's been used, but it hasn't. I just don't know. I don't really think I'm too inspired by this palette either. I honestly probably should get rid of this one, but I've just held on to it because I'm a hoarder. This is another palette we got in Boxycharm. This is the Alamar Cosmetics palette, and look at this pretty thing. Oh, hello. This I've actually gotten a lot of use out of. I love the colors in here, and I love that they like told you how to like use the shadows. So the ones that have little teardrops next to them can be used with a wet brush, and honestly using them with a wet brush is amazing. Makes them like super foiled. And then these mattes are just super creamy. I've used all of these shades. Like, I've literally worn all of them, and they're all good. Love this palette. I'm just gonna lump these two together. These are my Lorac Pro, like the original Lorac Pro, and my Semi Sweet Chocolate Bar palette. palette. These are also in my project pan, and I have some updates for these, and I don't want to spoil it quite yet, so I'm just gonna lump them together, trying to get through these, trying to get them out of my collection, because they are my oldest palettes. And then here's the last big palette. This is my Me Vita Loca palette by Kat Von D, and oh, she's a beauty. I got so much use out of it, so much use out of it. It is filthy, dirty, and I can't bear to part with it for whatever reason. I haven't used it in probably close to a year now, but I just can't seem to get rid of it. It's just, it makes me happy when I look at it. I need to clean it up a little bit because she's looking rough. Colors are just so nice. I don't really know what to do. I don't want to get rid of it, but I haven't really been using her. We'll see. So here's another Kat Von D palette. This is one of the little tiny quads. This is the Shade and Light Eye Quad in Rust. I actually found this at TJ Maxx, and these are so nice. I'll probably end up putting this in my everyday drawer soon too, because these are really nice fall colors and like winter colors. And these are just nice creamy shadows. Found this at TJ Maxx for like $5 or something, so I think that's a really good price for this. And if you don't have any shadows like that, I do recommend these because these are formulated really nice. I also have a lot of these Wet n Wild shadows. This is the Rose in the Air palette that came out that everyone was hyping up because it looks like the Anastasia palette. I am not a huge fan of this. I used it for my video and that's about it. And then I have these two little quads. These came out with the Birds of Paradise collection. I also have a video on these. These are pretty good, not my favorite. I feel like Wet n Wild shadows have changed recently, and I think they did actually say that they reformulated them. I preferred the older formula better, so I haven't really been loving these. They're not bad for the price. They're just not my favorite thing anymore. I also have this e.l.f. eyeshadow palette. This is the Mad for Matte eyeshadow palette. It's basically just a bunch of neutrals, and this palette's not that bad. Again, I feel like this formula is a little dry to me. It just doesn't go on the eyes as creamy as I would like it to, but it's not bad for what it is. And then here is the very last palette. This is my Milani's Earth Elements, I think. Earthy Elements palette. This was from the Everyday Eyes collection, and this palette, you guys, so underrated, so good. Milani, like, does not get enough recognition for their shadows. I love this palette. It doesn't look like I've used it that much, but there was a period of time where this is all I wore for like 2 weeks because the shadows are so nice. If you haven't tried any of the Milani shadows, just pick one up if you ever, you know, have the need, because they're good. Won't disappoint. Alright guys, so that's everything. That was all of my eyeshadows. Hopefully you guys liked this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up before you head on out. And hopefully that means I will just see all of you guys in my next video. Bye!